So, this is the final result of that experiment. I don't think it's quite working as intended. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is ScrapMan back with another episode of Dream Car Racing 3D, and I've built a mobile home. And when I say mobile home, of course, I don't really mean a trailer home. I mean an actual house that is on wheels. And man, this thing is fun to crash, as you're gonna find out later in this episode. But I just thought I would try something a little bit different and build something that's not a car. Because this game is so much based around cars that I felt like I needed to do something a little bit more out of the box. And ironically, it involved creating a very big box in the first place. But this house doesn't just drive, it has another special feature. Check this out. Boop boop. That's right, the front door opens. I think that deserves a bunch of likes right there on its own, don't you think? Like for the opening door. This is my first time actually using the key mapping features to open and close a door, or to have a moving part on one of these things. So, what we're gonna do in this episode is take a look at how this thing drives, which is kind of ridiculous on its own, but then we're gonna, of course, do some crashing and watch all of these frames deform, and then we're gonna end it off with, we'll do the pancake test off the big mountain, and maybe, I don't know, I guess I have to. We'll do the distortion portion as well, where we stretch it in all these different crazy ways. Now, you're probably wondering why there's this gap right here. Unfortunately, I was unable to close this gap without ruining the door functionality, because the wall would merge with the door here, and it would prevent it from opening. So, unfortunately, I had to leave that little gap there to keep the functionality of the door. All right, so let's take a look at how this thing actually drives. Now, there are 6 engines in it, so it can actually get up to a pretty decent speed. I mean, look at this thing. Is this ridiculous or what? It's a driving house. Now, right now, I do have the self-repair on, so it will deform a little bit, but then it will repair itself for the most part, because I find that it's a little fragile with all this weight when it comes to going over curves or hitting the ground at all. But as you can see, it definitely drives and it turns and it works. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be really hard to get the wheels and the steering to, and it even has this working suspension. That was one thing I was unsure about. This thing is ridiculous. All right, I want to show you guys how this thing crashes with repair mode on first, because I just think that's kind of funny on its own. And then we're actually gonna turn the deformations on so we can see this thing actually get destroyed. And sometimes weird stuff happens even with the repair on. We'll see what happens with this. All right, here we go. Well, I guess that's one thing. All right, let's go ahead and try this again. See what happens. That's how I'm gonna try to avoid those things. All right, just don't hit the pillar. All right, here we go. We'll go in slow motion. So it should kind of crumple, but then it should straighten itself back out. There it goes. Look at all the windows and the frames. Oh, this thing is so fun to crash. And then it should pretty much repair itself. Blub, blub, blub. It's very wobbly. Whoop, there we go. Back to normal. All right, so it didn't quite get, what happened there? What is this all about? All right, let's see if the door still works. Hey, look at it, fixed it. I fixed the door. All right, so let's go ahead and turn the deformations on and we'll see how this thing actually crumples in the crash test site. And real quick, for those of you who are wondering, this does have 492 frames, which actually isn't that bad for something of this size. So that's just because it's mostly empty space. And it's got 112 panels. Well, actually 112 glass, or regular panels, and then 40 glass panels, because there's a lot of windows on this thing. All right, so let's go ahead and go into the crash test map here. And this is actually the frame of the vehicle. You can see there's really not that much inside. Probably the most tedious thing was getting the windows and the doors to all stay supported. You can see, especially around this door here, there were so many little things I had to support on it. Oh, and I actually haven't tried this out yet. Check this out. So you might notice the doorknob there. The doorknob is actually, it's a headlight. Yep. But one thing I have noticed is that, unfortunately, it stays on its axis when you open it. So watch, check this out. So when I open the door, you can see that the doorknob, it stays, what'd I do? The doorknob actually stays facing the same direction the entire time, which I don't know what that's all about. Okay, so you can see some stuff is not right here because I actually do have the deformations on now, so things are gonna not stay in place very easily. Let's go ahead and, this thing is so awkward. Go ahead and get situated here. All right, I guess we'll just go off this jump and into this wall and see what happens if we can. Oh no, what's going on? What happened to our wheels? Something happened? All right, yeah, this is what happens when you have the deformations on with something this big and heavy. All right, there we go. This seems to be okay. Now we'll just go. Come on, survive. Don't let me down. All right, everything seems to be in working order. We just gotta not screw this up on the way down there. All right, here we go. Here we go. It is time for some slow motion. Okay, you all ready for this? Here it comes. Oh, look at that. I'm talking in slow motion, but my voice isn't actually being slowed down. If my voice was slowed down when I talked like this, it would actually sound like this. Well, so there you have it. It doesn't really look as inviting as a home as it once used to, but it's something. I'm actually really curious how it's gonna deal with these things. I think it's actually taller than this. Let's take it down this row. All right, so first person perspective I learned, or this perspective does not work very well for this, so I'm gonna have to pause it and then switch right before we crash. There we go. Now we're gonna switch to this perspective. And I think I'm just gonna go straight to full speed to see what happens, but let's go ahead and get this view right here. All right, and on. What? That is not at all what I thought was gonna happen. Why didn't the roof collapse? Everything except the roof collapsed. That was really weird. Now the question is, will it still drive? Nope. All right, one final crash test before we take it to the mountain. We're gonna see how it does with all these vertical pillars and see if this has any type of different effect on it. All right, I'm gonna watch it from this view right here. There we go. There goes the roof. We've turned into a rhombus. A rhombus of death and sadness. All right, we're on the mountain map and we're in the middle of nowhere right now. We still have our deformations on, but I thought it might be kind of fun to see how this thing handles the off-roading. See if it can actually get somewhere. Let's see if we can, is there even anywhere to go? Let's see if we can just get up or around this area right here. I don't really think it's gonna be able to do much. It's not looking very hopeful right now. Nope. Nope. We're already stuck. I think its base is a little bit too wide. The wheels don't come into contact as much as the frame does. All right, well, this was a bad idea. All right, so I've just spawned it on top of the mountain and we're off to a good start. I guess we're just gonna have to roll with it and see what happens. Our roof is already pretty badly, actually everything's already really badly damaged. Are we even gonna make it down the mountain? Really? Are we just gonna get stuck here? All right, you know what, fine. If you won't take me off the mountain, I'll just drive myself off. There we go. That's more like it. There we go. This is what homes are made for. If you're gonna do some crash testing, why not do it from home? I don't think this thing is gonna pass the pancake test very well. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off this the biggest drop right there and see what happens when it hits the ground flat. I mean, no pun intended. This thing is almost as big as the ramp itself. All right, I'm thinking I'm not actually gonna go very fast on this one. I'm just gonna get to the end and then just slowly tip off the edge and see how that works out for us. All right, here goes nothing. Slow down. All right. There's just something about seeing a house like this just fall through the air. I don't know what it is. This is very amusing to me. I hope you guys are amused too. If you guys are amused, let me know in the comments and leave a like, please. Because I'm definitely amused. Oh, there we go. And I think it is that a pass or a fail for the pancake test? I don't know. If you become a pancake during the pancake test, does that mean you've passed it or does that mean you've failed it? I'm inclined to say fail because I think the goal is to not be pancaked. So it's definitely failed at that goal. But it's a pancake house nonetheless. All right, now for my favorite part of the episodes, the distortion portion. So for those of you who might be a little bit more unfamiliar with this this series, the distortion portion is where we take parts of the vehicle like this and just go ahead and stretch them out into different directions, ignore all the warnings, and take it for a test drive to see how it does. All right, so this didn't exactly, I see what happened there. I did not mean to take that top part. All right, yeah, so we just gotta stretch it out into different directions like I was saying, and then see how it drives. The door is doing some really weird stuff. It'll be fun to try to open this and see what happens. All right, I don't think our wheels are working anymore. What's happening inside here? Our wheels seem to have completely collapsed. I'm not sure what the deal is with them. But this is what the house looks like now. Let's check out if the door still works. That's not exactly working as intended. All right, yeah, that's pretty much what's happening now. But how's it drive? All right, here we go. First test drive. All right, clearly this isn't working out. Okay, so the lengthwise distortion portion wasn't a huge success. So let's try width. We'll go ahead and take this part and just stretch it. All right, I think we're actually gonna have to turn symmetry mode off for this because this is not a very symmetrical creation at all. So we're gonna have to do each side individually. So we'll do this side about that much. And we'll do this side. I get all the wheels too? Here, let's just make sure we got the half of it. This side about that much. Now I wonder if the wheels are gonna work. Hey, it's something. This actually, it still looks like a somewhat normal house. I mean, that frame got a little bit messed up. But everything else, the door, that's not exactly what's supposed to happen. But the door still kind of works. We're going up a hill here. And our tires, I think, have given out. Yep, some of our tires have definitely jumped ship. Well, let's try going down the hill, see if we can crash into something. Yeah, the tires seem to have a little bit of trouble handling it. But I'm curious how they'll do. Oh, there goes one of our tires. I'm curious how they'll do when we, if we distort it vertically, so we just make it a really tall house, very top heavy. Then the tires will all be the same distance as the original design. So that shouldn't affect it too much, unless it's just the weight that's the issue. I don't know, maybe it's the weight. But yeah, we can't seem to really drive it all that well, so let's go ahead and do the last part of it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and divide it right at the first floor here. And how's the back looking? All right, looking good. And we're just gonna move this up. What is going on here? There's some very unexpected things with the frames. I guess I had these kind of aligned a little oddly, but we'll see how this works. All right, the wheels seem to be much more effective now. We're not flattened out, but look at this thing. This is ridiculous. Okay, how's it drive? Oh boy, it's gonna be very hard not to tip over, I fear. Does the door still work? Okay, that's something. What is going on? Oh no, we're gonna tip over. One of our wheels is gone. All of our wheels are gone. All right, now we're just a stranded house. All right, but I have to crash this thing. I have to try to get this thing to crash. What happens if we start up here? All right. Keep it calm, keep it calm. You can do it. Gonna go down the hill. Yeah, we're picking up some speed now. Uh-oh. Nope, we still got it. Our wheels are collapsing again. Again with the wheels. The wheels are the weak point. I have them all strong though, or I thought I did. All right, you know what? We're just gonna stretch this thing in every direction, and I'm just gonna drop it off the mountain. We don't need to drive if we just drop it off the mountain, right? Right. So we're just gonna go ahead and do this, and do that, this, some of this. I think we got a pretty nice looking house there. How's that look? That little spot right there. Does that look a good spawn point? I think it's a good spawn point. Let's spawn it right there. Oh, there we go. There we go. This is not quite as cozy of a home with all those gaps in there. Oh boy, we've made a mess. How's our door work? Does our door still work? Doing something. What is going on with this? We're like transforming into some creature of the night. I think we may have misused the game a little bit here. I think we broke it. This is not the pancake test I was looking for. Are we going through the ground? I can't get my camera above the ground here. Here, let me go third person. So, this is the final result of that experiment. I don't think it's quite working as intended. Oh, well, leave a like for this. This has been an interesting episode of Dream Car Racing 3D. Leave some suggestions on what else you would like to see me try to build in future episodes. Obviously, I can do things that aren't cars, so leave some suggestions for. I mean, you can suggest certain cars and things, but I think something more outside of the box would be more fun to try to experiment with. So leave those comments down below. This has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time.